So on this side, more tiny zip ties, which I just whacked in before I left, just because they're handy. I'll leave those out actually. I don't think I need them. No, I'll keep them in there because they're actually useful. Spoke key, very, very handy, as you've seen. Wouldn't do without that. Four extremely large and chunky zip ties, very handy. A set of 3 metal tire levers. I've never used plastic ones. I've always used these metal ones. So they never fail. That's a tiny sort of, it's one of those strange Allen keys with the funny, I don't know how to describe it or what you call them, but my pedals on the old Halfords pedals had this nut on, and they always came loose, so I always kept this to tighten it up. So I'll have to check the Shimano pedals and see if they have this type of Allen key, and if they don't, that can come back out and go with the other set. There's an 8mm spanner here, which I think was for Eddie, for the brakes. Everything is pretty much Allen key on the Wombat, except for the front headlight bolt, which has a nut on the end, so that might be 8mm. I don't know, but it's handy to have. Oops, that's got caught up. Halfords 15mm adjustable spanner, very handy. When I had the hub, it was the wheel spanner, and now it's just for anything that needs spannering up to 15mm. So this I took because the Halfords pedals were an 8mm Allen key bolt to fit them. But this also turns out that it also it's also an 8mm bolt for the chain set, so I'll keep this in the toolkit, even though it's a bit chunky. But in case I kept it in case the crank arms came off the new bottom bracket. This is Heiko, West Germany. This is from a BMW motorcycle toolkit. It's a crosshead and flathead screwdriver that just goes inside the handle and gives you a changeable screwdriver, so use that for the derailleur adjustment mostly. Swiss Army knife. Lock blade, which comes in handy for everything from cutting cake to zip ties to prizing gravel rash out of your skin with the tweezers, and everything in between, so I wouldn't be without that. And Dad plaited this lanyard cable, so it's a cord which is 3 times as long as what it looks, because you can unravel it and it's a lot longer. What else is in here? What's that? Spare chunky bolts to hold the Caradis bag on. The rack, I mean the Bagman rack, because the bolt for that broke once, so I got a much thicker bolt and nut and bolted it straight through. So yeah, they probably don't need to be in there, but it's an Airsmith made in Taiwan. I think it's a copy of a Lezine pump. That's the bit that the air comes out of, and you screw on this. You've got a Prester on one side and a Schrader on the other, and then you screw that onto the valve, and you've got a very good pump. I bought this in Austria for about 40 euros back in 2018, because I'd had a plastic Beto pump which was on the way out. It wasn't as good, so, and it was smaller than this and you couldn't get as much air in, so I upgraded to this, because I'd have happily bought a Lezyne for up to like 80 euro, but they didn't have those. They only had this one in the shop, so, and I can't complain. And the little pipe just fits inside the pump like that, and you screw it in, and you've got a nice compact pump for your bike, so I can't complain at that. And then that's that for the toolkit actually. So it's quite extensive, so you do need it for a tour. I had to borrow a cassette removal tool and a square taper removal tool and the bottom bracket removal tool in Ballysadare, and apart from that I used the spoke key the most, and I used the puncture kit once, and the rest of it I haven't used, but I wouldn't be without any of it. In terms of headgear, I wouldn't be without a cap, just for night riding, because the peak stops the glare of the headlamps and it also protects you from the sun. You can see where it's faded in the sunlight, and the fadings come through the helmet. It's a Boardman cap, again from Halfords. I've worn this every day since I bought it. I forget when I bought it, but it's a few years old now. The same with these. Gloves are from Lidl's. Very faded and worn, but they do the job. And the helmet is also from Lidl's. It's got a GoPro helmet mount, camera mount on it. I've just noticed the foam has come out of alignment on the thing, so I'll have to look at that. The helmet, basic Lidl's helmet. It's probably too old now because they have a life expectancy. It says it was produced April 2014, 11 years ago, so that could well be too old now, actually. The polystyrene will go off or something like that. In terms of photography, I just took the Canon G7X Mark III from 2020, so showing its age a bit with all the rubber coming off, but very good camera, can't fault it in a low pro camera bag with spare batteries in. I would recommend this Blackburn carrier. You can put almost any size bottle you want in it. This is a 1 litre Nalgene at the moment, and then the other bottles are just standard 750ml from SJS Cycles. But so I have a third Thorn bottle to go in here normally, but a litre's just better. You can put whatever you want in, and you're restricted by height only up to the bag or up to the top tube. So yeah, Blackburn. and the straps have this rubber on it, so it's got a nice steady grip. Also putted this old derailleur protector on. That did come in handy actually. It is a bit battered. I remember leaning it up against the wall at Binniam Bay and I heard something scrape from down there, and it was the derailleur guard rather than the derailleur itself, so that's done the job there. Also, now the Wombat's been overseas, he's earned his foreign stickers. So, well, they're not all foreign. England, Wales, Ireland, Northern Ireland, and then the more trips, hopefully it'll fill up on that side and then on the other side and around the frame. So we're all packed as if we're ready for a trip. I hope you enjoyed the gear review video. It's going to be a long one, but I thought I'd make it in depth in case it would be of use to anybody. I did weigh the bike last night actually. I loaded everything up and I weighed it without the water and without the Manfrotto tripod. Came to 87 pounds, which is 39.5 kilograms. So that's without water and without food. So the water is 2.5 litres, that's 2.5 kilogram. So that takes it up to 42. And then probably the food is probably pushing it close to 50 kilograms, fully loaded with 2 days worth of food. The food, by the way, I would just stuff in, mostly in the front, and then in the panniers and then mostly in the Caradies as well. So that would be, well, you've probably seen it up there with a loaf of bread in and meat and cheese. So I'd imagine after a little shop it's pushing 50 kilograms. So, but you get used to it quickly actually. Riding pretty well. Very comfy when it's loaded up as well, so honestly can't complain about how it went. Yeah, 10 out of 10. So we'll head back down the hill now. I'll end the video here. It was 9 o'clock when I set off and now it's 5 to 1, so yeah, it's taken a while. So I'll say thank you very much for watching, and until next time. I've done my main goal for the year, so I don't know what else to do in terms of big rides, apart from just press on and try and hit 5,000 for the month. So sorry, for the year, 5,000 miles for the year. So I'll keep riding and I'll come up with something to make for a video. So yeah, so thanks very much for watching and speak soon. Cheerio. Video postscript. I've just got in and I forgot about the other pocket in the Vaseline, sorry, I forgot about the other pocket in the Alpkit frame bag where I took Vaseline. I bought that in Abbeydorney the day I took the ferry over the Shannon, which is the day after the first spoke failure. That was a godsend, that was. That's Gorilla Tape in there, which I only used to package up a parcel in Galway. Then that's the bag that the money was in. And then that's... These were given out at the Uni Freshers Fair. It's just a simple drawstring bag, but very handy for shopping. And then in the front of the food bag I also took 4 harness straps to tie up the bike on the ferry, and an ordinary Spar carrier bag which got lost in Galway in the youth hostel when I gave it to them to do my laundry, and I never got it back, so I don't know what happened to that. Anyway, they're easy enough to replace, aren't they? But yeah, so that's the final bit of the gear list.